Hello everybody, I'm Raphael Perry and it's time for some more of the Bloodfeud of Altheus. I wasn't able to record this last week, which is a shame, but here we are now. Right, so we are in a situation where a chariot driver in a race has fallen off his chariot and he's hurt. And he wants someone to take his place in the next race. But to choose the new driver, he wants people to gamble on the current race, and then the person who wins will get to drive the next chariot. Now, we have no drive chariot type skill on our character sheet. We don't particularly have anything helpful to us, and if we are going to gamble, we need one of these things: the cornea brooch, the golden cup, our mother's gem, or the jewelled mirror, of which we only have the mother's gem, which we need. It's a vital quest essential item, and we don't know the odds of this gamble at all. So I think we don't gamble, we just push on. I'm sure it'd be glorious if we did, and it'd be a good gamble, it would pay off if we won, but if we had one of these things, I would be totally happy to gamble, But as it currently stands, let's just hold off. After a short time, the next race begins, and it's obvious that the red team is doing spectacularly poorly, as a boy racing against his elders finds himself outmatched. The blue team laps the red driver, but the latter, in his inexperience, swerves the wrong way and ends the race for both of them. Soon, the yellow chariot has a commanding lead, and the race comes to an anticlimactic conclusion. You go to bed tired of the Acharnian chariot races. Next morning, you wake up and set out refreshed for Athens. The way to Athens is pleasant. The path is well made and not rutted like others upon which you have travelled. Soon you pass into an area of green-clad rolling hills, and beyond this, the outer edge of Athens' cultivated area. In the distance, you can see farmers carrying their allotted portion for distribution to other areas. Your stomach feels light and you are tense with anticipation. Suddenly, you can see the very walls of Athens, your goal for so many days. Your pace quickens, and without speaking to anyone you pass, you hurry on until the great gates of the city are but a few yards away. Fair enough. Kind of feeling like maybe we might have missed some really good things on the way here, given all those lovely items we could have had. But we did find some nice, pieces of equipment as well. You pause for a moment and then carry on, unhindered, into the city itself. You must find the way to the palace, but do not know how to. Ahead of you are grand houses built in stone, the abodes of some great lords of the city, but not large enough to be the house of your father. To either side of these lesser houses are mud-baked brick block... Hang on. Blah. To either side of these, lesser houses of mud-baked brick block further progress into the city. We can carry on along this road to the left, or to the right, or ask someone the way to the palace. We are a stranger in this town, we shall ask. There are many people rushing around, but no one seems to take any notice of you. An old man sits dejectedly on a large flat stone, staring into the throng of people as if remembering earlier, better years. Past you there walks a young man dressed in a rich tunic of purple trim in gold, clearly of high birth. So we can stop the nobleman and ask him the way to the palace, and he might say, "Get lost, peasant." Or we can approach the old man, who might be too wrapped up in his old memories and may demand some task of us before we assist him. It could also be one of the gods testing us. But for now, let's stop the nobleman, as he has the better reason to know the way. I say, you look very important. Have you been to the palace recently? Of course I've been to the palace recently. Great, can you tell me where it is? You don't know where it is? Oh, there's a clue. The nobleman shrugs his shoulders and confesses that he too is a stranger to Athens, hailing from far-off Pylos. Without another word, he rushes off into the crowd, afraid lest he be singled out as a foreigner. There's a clue here. I think he might be lying. To try and get rid of us. Rushing back to where the old man sat, you find that he was just leaving for whatever miserable hovel he subsists in. You ask him the way to Aegeus's palace. He seems reluctant at first, but then says he has business nearby, and it would be no trouble for him to show you the way. Ooh, we're going to get mugged by a gang. Why would he lead us to a gang of robbers? He's already on his way somewhere. So he's going to... Yeah, we probably should have not let those murderers get away. Right. He may just be a decent fellow. Let's just not look too closely at that image for a moment. The old man is very slow, and he leads you through broad, sunny, well-kept streets, past the temple of Athena, divine protectress of the city. The man, however, now seems to be leading you away from the main thoroughfares of the city, the open meeting places, and the Acropolis. Eventually, the aged beggar stops and, pointing, cries, "There! There's your palace! May you have much joy of it!" As you stand, stunned, he laughs hysterically, and with an agility that belies his age, bounds off into the side street and is gone. Have one shame point for being duped. Well, that's what we take for following a clue. Ah, well. We'll have to find another way to the palace. You stand outside a huge pigsty. The swineherd is feeding the animals their meal of swill, and he looks up at you inquiringly. The smell is almost overpowering. Do you conquer your disgust and desire to walk away long enough to ask the way to the palace, or leave this place as quickly as possible and try to make your way to your father's house? Well, he's highly unlike... We'll ask while we're here, what the hell. We're already this deep. The swineherd, on hearing your request, laughs heartily, for he, as he confides, is the royal swineherd. He prefers a scarred and greasy hand, but you do not take it. Sighing, he says he will take you to the palace, but you must be quick, as he cannot leave the pigs for long. There's a clue here. We don't want to get tricked again. Lose one honour point and take one shame point. Okay, we just go with him. We don't lose honour. So perhaps the old man did us a favour after all. The swineherd is an athletic youth, and you almost lose him as he rushes off through the tangle of Athens. Quickly you reach a magnificent building with colonnades and arches, and with baskets of flowers adorning the front. This is the palace of your father. The swineherd does not, however, take you in, but darts away down a side street. You call out to him, but he does not reply, and you follow him down the alleyway. He points to a small entrance at the back of the building. From the interior comes a smell of cooking. "Here it is," he says. "The way in." You begin to feel hungry. We could knock or just rudely barge in, which implies there is a door on which to knock. So let us do that. Clearly he's taking us to the tradesman's entrance. You knock once on the pine door, but nobody replies. You knock again, harder, and this time a serving maid opens the door. She looks surprised to see you and calls out to a massively built woman who wears a woolen apron. She is clearly in charge of the kitchen, and when she catches sight of you, she demands to know who you are. We could tell her we are Altheus or Periphas. Now, Why would we give a false name? She probably doesn't... It's unlikely that she knows our name by reputation, so I'm just going to be honest and tell her the truth. She may know us because she works here. The portly cook looks slyly at you and says, "So you're Altheus, son of Aegeus." Seeing you nod, she scurries away and screams, "Guards! Arrest this man!" Before you have time to escape or even get into the kitchen and through to the palace, 2 sword-armed guards with body-length shields are set upon you. They have Might 5, Protection 14. Can we surrender? I think we just... I don't want to fight these guards. It seems like a really bad idea. Now, I have to question what's going on here. Does Aegeus want us arrested? Or does she believe we're an imposter? And she's trying to get us arrested because of it. Oh, this feels dumb. But we definitely shouldn't use the axe here. In which case we're going to struggle to hit defense protection 14. There's 2 guards. So we would need 5s to hit them. And they would need 6s to hit us. 5 for the first one, because so basically everyone will be getting hit. It's 2 warriors, but they're guards. They're unlikely to back down if seriously injured. I think we surrender. Oh, this is not going well, is it? Not going well at all. You sink to your knees and beg for mercy. The guards sneer at you, and with their companions, you notice that 2 more have come up from behind you, and two stood at the other side of the kitchen. They strip you of all your armour and weapons. With one last look at the silent servants standing with their pots and great bronze cauldrons, evidence of some great feast of preparation, you are dragged off into the palace by your captors. I'm not going to remove any weapons or armour yet. Because they may be returned to us if we can clear up this little misunderstanding. It's a massive misunderstanding, let's be honest. Or there's no misunderstanding at all. You're pushed down a hallway, feebly protesting and explaining your real identity. "So it's the king's son you are now, is it?" One of them mocks as you are shoved into a tiny, dark and bare prison cell. How, you ask yourself, can a man be prisoner in his own father's household? Surely he should be an honoured guest. There's something going on here. You sit depressed in the cell for what seems like hours. You do not know when you will be released, or indeed whether you will be released at all. At length, a maidservant comes and leaves some bread and a pot filled with water. Eagerly you eat the meagre fare and pray to the gods for your release. Aphrodite is not our patron, and presumably we would charm the serving maid if that's the case, but there is a clue here. Let's take it, because we may very well need it. Is amicable Altheus afraid even of the dark and being alone? Lose 1 honor point. We don't lose honor points, fortunately. So, off to section 54 it is. Tired and angry, you toss the pot in the corner, where it shatters into 1,000 pieces. The labyrinth in Crete seems so far away, and you bang at the door, demanding to be released. The guards say nothing, and at length you cease. Perhaps your patron will release you, but in the meantime there's a clue, and we may very well need it. Oh. You make one last attempt to persuade the guard to release you. Send a message to the king or queen, you say. They will be able to tell that I am indeed Altheus and not an impostor. A very reasonable request. So we'll see if they're genuinely interested or if they really don't want to know, and there is some intention. The guard motions to a passing kitchen boy who runs off breathless. Not long afterwards he returns and speaks frantically with the guard. You listen, and with joy in your heart realize that you are to be released, for the king is holding a great feast today, and it would be shameful to keep a man prisoner, and not to share the meal with him. Okay. And then he'll get a good look at us when we sit down to eat. Maybe they will apologize and return my belongings. If not, I will have to seek others. You soon arrive at the king's great hall. At one end of a vast table, Aegeus himself is seated, his nobles beside him. You are honoured with a seat comparatively near the king, and are soon indulging in the best meal you have had since Trozen. There is the meat of deer, duck, and boar, and wine goblets are freely replenished from the mixing bowl, and there are vast quantities of bread. From a brazier beside the door, smoke rises through a hole in the roof, evidence of the burnt remains of a portion of the feast set aside for Athena, the city's patron. Your goblet has not yet been filled with the deep red wine of Chios' vineyards. We can carry on with the meal and wait. Fill a goblet ourselves from a mixing bowl. There's a clue here, and I think we should take it. They can't all be red herrings. Surely the visit of your father Aegeus cannot frighten you. Take one shame point and lose one honour point. Bloody hell. We are racking up those shame points. Interestingly, that means skipping the filling a goblet from a mixing bowl, interestingly enough. Okay. Into the water you plunge and... What? Carry on with your meal and weight is 561, right? Oh, 561, not... Okay. That makes more sense. Queen Medea, your father's new wife, notices that your goblet is empty. Stranger, she says, let me fill your cup. With this she stands, a woman of medium height, now rather overweight, but clearly once beautiful. She takes your goblet aside and fills it with from a great bronze mixing bowl. But this is Medea, right, from Jason of the Golden Fleece. She casts spells that can put dragons to sleep. She poisons people. She murders her own children. And then rides off in a chariot drawn by dragons. So now she's turned up over here. No wonder we were arrested. She's probably trying to get rid of other heirs. We are indeed one who has the favour of Dionysus. And there's a clue. But we have the favour of Dionysus, so I think we'll be protected if it is poisoned. I'm just going to check blatantly poisoned, yeah? 581. Yeah. Thought so. Right. But we are protected by the wine god, so let's place our trust in that. You seem to see the reveller god before you, running in the woods with his maenads in train, like a hunter with his pack of hounds. "Beware," he cries, "or your fate will be that of your prey. The wine is poisoned. Do not drink it." You leave your goblet untouched until the end of the feasting, when the king turns towards you to speak. "Why do you not drink my wine, stranger?" The king stares you straight in the face, his gaze like that of the snake-haired Gorgon freezing you where you stand, his white locks like the snow that lies atop Olympus. "Who are you, stranger?" he says, his voice strangely rich and flowing. who comes into my house thus and cause such a disturbance? I will go over again. Who are you, stranger, who come to my house thus and cause such a disturbance? Speak now, and speak the truth, for Zeus protects all strangers, and we mean you no harm. We can wait for him to speak again. It does feel like he's being manipulated here. 190, there's a clue. Yeah, okay. Let's hope it's not more shame. Do you still have your mother's gem? I do indeed. Say, my mother bade me give you this. Feeling in the pocket of your tunic, you find the gem your mother gave you when you left Trozen. You hold it out to King Aegeus, who looks at it astonished. I am Altheus, you say, and this is the proof. Aegeus's regal posture relaxes and he smiles. I welcome you, my son. Come at last and unawaited to the place of your father, the palace of your father indeed. Let's see. Aegeus's expression turns from one of joy to seriousness. This is an opportune time for you to come, for Athens is beset by an ancient peril. Each year we must send 7 young men and 7 girls to sate the appetite of the Cretan Minotaur. You, my son, must be our emissary. I shall send you to Crete with messages and a gift for King Minos, demanding that this terrible tribute be relaxed, and that he accept gold and silver rather than the flower of our youth. For of the one we have abundance, of the other little, and beyond price. If he will not accept, there will be war between our states. General Eticon, a bluff, bearded man, interjects. And you must bring back all the information you can, of course, in case the worst occurs. Yet in his bloodshot eyes you can see that this is a prospect he rather hopes for than fears. Come, continues Aegeus, and walks over to a doorway leading out from a great hall. I will draw up the documents. We can wait in the hall for Aegeus to complete his task. Or do you leave the gathered assembly of Athens' nobility behind and follow your father? I will follow as he has instructed. The doorway leads to a large but bare room. Beyond is a tiny study, closed off by silken hangings. Here your father draws up the edicts of his rule, or, more often, has scribes do it for him. But this is a private document, so he's going to do it himself. Why is there a clue here? This feels like a dishonourable clue. The king seats himself at the table and speaks once more. Altheus, he says, there are things I must say to you that I cannot say before the nobles of the city and visitors from afar. Minos is an implacable man, and I fear he will not accept our offer of tribute. Were the Minotaur to be slain, however, he might see the wisdom of an alternative course. We'll do that whole again. There was me changing a word because I thought it would sound better. Were the Minotaur to be killed, however, he might see the wisdom of an alternative course, or even be too weakened to attack Athens again, for it is said that the presence of the beast in Crete gives divine strength to their armies. I will give the captain of the ship which bears you instructions to journey under a black sail. If you succeed, change them to white, and I will know at your coming that you have succeeded. Be swift, for already discontent grows daily at the sacrifices, and my guards have dispatched 5 men to the care of black-hearted Hades. Yet before you go, there is one service more I must ask of you. The Amazons, women warriors, are marching to our city to besiege it. No one can divine the reason why, not even the seer Hornis. I need your aid to fight off this threat. With this, Aegeus starts to write the letters for the Cretan king. When he is finished, he seals them with hot wax and hands them over to you. We can thank him and depart the chamber to avoid to await the attack the next morning when we have no weapons and armour, I think we take the clue. We might say, hey, we need gear if we're going to help you fight. You decide it would be, oh, okay, in which case we do take the documents. What kind of penalties do we take for fighting without weapons or armor? It's going to be bad, isn't it? We might take none. We might just have no equipment. You decide that it would be wise to scout the Amazon camp now close to the walls of Athens itself, so you may discover the reason for the attack. Silently you pass through the city and out of the gates, the guards saluting you as you pass. Oh no. I mean, this is just one disastrous episode, isn't it? You can soon see the campfires of the Amazons lighting up the midnight sky as the shepherd's burning cottage illuminates the tiny valley, driving off both sheep and the neighbours who had come to help, fearful now of the fate in store for them. And there's another clue here, which I think we should take. Is Altheus such a coward that he is afraid even while single-handedly scouting a hostile camp in the dark? Perhaps the shadows frighten you. Whatever the cause, you must take one shame point, and we don't lose honour at least. But we want to watch that shame. We need more honour points. Oh dear. Oh, okay. Okay, look. At this point, obviously we have no weapons or armour. So I'm just going to put all these gone. Closer you creep like the mountain lion that stalks her prey, craving meat for her hungry cubs crying out in the den. There are few guards. The Amazons seem too confident for such a precaution. You look into one tent. Fortunately, it is not occupied and there is little of interest, only various jars, urns, and a shield of sewn hides. Before you can examine this more closely, you hear voices. Someone is about to enter the tent. Queen Antiope's leopard skin. The speaker begins, but then sees you and stops. She carries a spear and a sewn hide shield and wears a bearskin. We'll have to fight. We attack. With no weapons. It's gonna hurt. The Amazon has might 7, 5 basic and 2 for her spear, and protection of 14, 10 basic and 2 for her hygiene. Oh god, we're gonna... Right. Let's get book 2 up. Because we need a character sheet. So 4, 10... and 11 protection, because we get 1 for having Athena as our patron. This will not end well. Just saying. So, Altheus does indeed strike first. Unsurprisingly, that's not enough to land a hit. The Amazon has might 7, protection 14. Yeah, we're gonna die. Oh, sure, we'll pray to our patron for aid before the combat. Why not? What the hell? It's so desperate and bad, we probably need to. It'll be like, is your patron Ares? No? Well, screw you then. Pious words wing from your mouth to high Olympus. If ever you have heard me before, now is the time to aid me. You pray, but there is no response. Have one honor point. When you look up, the Amazon has gone, taking advantage of your prayer to escape. All right. Hang on, then. Ooh. We'll take that honor point. So now we have the opportunity to run away again. I think we need to chase after her. Maybe she is afraid of the goddess Athena aiding us in battle. Now we can go and die. You are ready for battle, but the Amazons are not prepared to risk any of their number. As you leave the tent, you are seized by some 8 of them, whom your erstwhile opponent has taken the opportunity of summoning. All your weapons which you do not have are taken from you, but you are allowed to return to Athens unhindered. What the bloody hell was the point of that, then? Okay, fine. Let's keep bumbling our way through this episode and see how... We haven't even had a proper picture yet. So it's annoying because we can do better. We can do better. If we bluff our way into the household, pretending to be a stranger, we'd get to keep our weapons, and then investigating the Amazons' camp would be far more favourable. You run quickly away from the camp of the Amazons, fearful lest anyone should spot you and take you prisoner. No, they've already done that. You must warn Athens of the great host that you have seen assembled so close, and tomorrow you must be ready to defend your father's city. Once in the town, you reach the white-walled palace quickly, pass through the flower-girt entrance, as in garbed all around by flowers. Got it, as in a girdle of flowers. Yeah, and explain everything to your father. Do you stay awake in case the assault comes at night? Or sleep so you can be refreshed for the coming of a life-crushing war? We don't even have any... We don't even have a weapon. Let's stay awake. I'm not expecting the attack to come at night, but... You stay alert for some hours, but there is no sound save for the screeching of an owl as it breaks the back of its tiny prey. At length you succumb to soft-tongued sleep's gentle persuasion. But I think something will have happened because we stayed awake, like we'll be too tired to fight properly or something. That's the main one I was concerned about. In the morning you awaken, just at the time when fresh dawn comes with her crimson streamers lights up, and with... Right. In the morning you awaken, just at the time when fresh dawn comes and, with her crimson streamers, lights up the pale sky. Today is clearly the day of the assault. A serving maid brings you in a hearty meal of meat and goat's milk. Once you have eaten, you go down to meet Aegeus. He stands pensive, and in his arms he bears his own weapons and armour. "This," he says, "is all I have left. Much has been lost, and I am too old to use what remains. Go now and save our city from this dire peril, and may the gods be with you." With this he hands you a sword, a small shield, and a breastplate. You may use these items in combat if they are better than the arms you already possess. They are far better than the arms I do not already possess. So, the king's own weapons and armour. So that takes us up to a might of 7. However, a heady protection of 15. If you've been told the reason for the Amazon attack on Athens, we have not. That would have been very helpful to know if we had handled ourselves better in the camp. How would we have done that? Would we have bested the Amazon in combat, and then she may have told us? If Hera is your patron, you desire her aid. Otherwise we must go and join the fray at once, then so be it. We are clueless as to the reasons for this conflict. Now fully armed, you take a moment to pray to your patron before the battle. Then you climb to the top of a high, mud-bricked tower at the edge of the walls to survey the battlefield. The two sides, Athenians and Amazons, are drawn up for the battle, their standards waving in the dawn breeze. For a moment there is silence, like that before the tempest, and then they clash. It is as when two rivers in winter spate run down from the high hills and throw together at their meeting the full weight of their water, and far off in the mountains the shepherds hear the thunder and stand in awe, wondering at the sound. Such is the shock and clamour from the joining of the battle. You rush down, eager for the fight, and make your way rapidly to the field of war, like a leopard stalking its prey. Soon a small group of Amazons approaches the band of Athenians you have joined, their hair bound with ribbons of gold and silver, their bodies clad in animal skins. They are armed with death-dealing spears. We can attack the Amazon wearing the lion skin, the leopard skin, or the bear skin. I imagine this is the same bear skin wearing Amazon we had met before, and if we had bested her before, she may surrender to us. But we heard her say the queen wears a leopard skin, so for the leopard we go. We have at least that information. The Amazon who wears the leopard skin has a might of 8 and protection of 15. And we only need to seriously wound her. Okay. This is going to be fiddly. I'm not going to call out the odds because I don't want to jinx it. So we land a blow. She is wounded. And then with her might of 8, she strikes back at us. Also landing a blow. We are now wounded. And now we attempt to seriously wound her. We roll really high. 2 6s. She is now seriously wounded. And I am going to... If she now backs out and her bodyguards take over, we may be in trouble. However, let's just see. Your opponent sees that you are the superior fighter and grips your knees in the traditional gesture of supplication and surrenders. "I am Antiope, queen of the Amazons," she says. "You have bested me, and so our nation is defeated. Hera can ask no more. Yet you are a brave fighter, and perhaps you deserve a reward, for you are the first man to best this Amazon queen in mortal combat. There are some of us in Crete, Altheus, for I know of your name and mission, and chief among them is one called Lembra. Speak to her of what you have done, and mention my name. She will be obliged to help you. We can kill her, or let her go. No, we absolutely let her go. We're not going to be dishonourable. But we are going to make a note. So, when we what the hell is going on with this capital letter thing? Right. We will let her go. Gracefully. She's a queen. She's going to be honourable enough now she's bestie. She's not going to turn on us. Even Hera, while spiteful, is also honourable. To confirm her supplication, the Amazon Queen gives you the jewelled brooch from her shoulder. If you see Lembra, this will tell her that you are my friend, she says. So. Right. That's likely to be a clue when we get there. It'll be just like the Mother's Gem was. Like, do you have a jeweled brooch? So instead of having it written into the sections so we can cheat and go, yes, I have it, even if we don't, instead we have to follow the clue and then get asked, hey, do you have that? I'll bear that in mind. Right. Well, we managed to come out of that one okay, just about. The queen leaves you and goes into the fray like a she-bear, anxious for her cubs. Within a few minutes, however, the Amazons are in retreat, and, like the tide that ebbs from the storm-battered shore, leaving the debris of its coming, they are gone to their far-off haven. Their duty to the divine queen fulfilled, their obligation gone. Have 6 honour points for such a victory. And of that, we should be quite proud. Back from the battlefield you come, bloodied but not beaten. This wound will, however, have healed by our next fight. Yours is the victory. You come to the great feasting hall of Aegeus, where most of the warriors are gathered, mourning the dead, but rejoicing in their hearts that the warlike Amazons have been thrown back to their ships. In the background, servants scurry to and fro, preparing a victory feast. The gathered company cheers you for your part in the fight, as men at oars cheer the helmsman who has guided them safe through the jagged rocks. You are tired after the exertions of the day, and your youthful limbs can hardly bear you further. You stagger and fall to the ground. A man comes to you and puts a goblet to your lips, and you sip at the cool, dark wine. Is it poison again? You are carried by servants of Aegeus to your room, and there you feast for some hours, sleeping intermittently while the feast and the celebration go on below. At last you are recovered and feel able to act again, fully refreshed. We can stay the night, ready to leave next morning. Or decide that we can delay no further and must go at once, without saying farewell, down to the Piraeus, port of Athens, where the ship awaits us, carrying a human tribute for Minos. I think we take the clue, and hope it's not more shame points. Your weariness has befuddled your brain. There is nothing to fear. Lose 1 honour point. We don't lose honour points for clues, mercifully. So there was no clue. Got it. So there's nothing like prey here then. Will the ship leave without us if we stay the night? I say we go straight down to the ship. I have an inkling. The moon is newborn tonight, so the way is dark indeed. You stumble often and once fall down. You rest a while and check that your weapon is not broken. We only have the one. The night breeze fills the trees with rustling, and from the branches owls launch silently and leafily upon their prey, scurrying about on the forest floor. In the distance, you can now see the lights of the Piraeus, like stars in the realm of heaven. The calm is broken by the voice of a man pleading for mercy. You move closer and see a tall, young man being set upon by terrible creatures, winged women with snakes in their hair, who tower above him with torches and whips in their hands. In his hand, the man holds a cake smeared with honey. Seeing you, he cries, "Help me! I am persecuted by the Furies! You must help me!" We can drive away the free-winged creatures and seek the reason for the attack, or press onwards, thankful that it is not you whom these creatures have chosen to persecute. So the Furies punish people for doing horrible things, and there's a clue here. Yeah, let's... Absolutely. There's something heroic, surely. These creatures are the Furies, Tisiphone, Alecto, and Megaera. They punish those who have committed some heinous crime. To help the man would be to offend them, while to leave him would be shameful indeed. Well, that's bad, but we don't want even more shame points. Let us give succour to the man and beat off his hellish assailants. Wait, there's a new clue. Ah! Have one shame point and lose one honour point. False clue. Okay, fair enough. We'll take the shame point. We're racking it up here. Let's help him against the Furies. I'm not going to say it's unjust, and they'll probably come back for him, but at least we can find out what the hell's going on. I hope I don't regret this. You take a swipe at one of the creatures but miss, and they retire to a nearby tree. Then as one, they come screaming to the attack. The man, meanwhile, cowers in the gloom, too frightened to move on. There are 3 Furies, Tisiphone, Alecto, and Megaera. They fight in that order. Each has Might 4, Protection 18, but remember the bonus to Might for multiple opponents. Yeah, is it 1 for each opponent, or just 1? I think it's 1 each, isn't it? We may lose this one. Fighting multiple opponents. Yeah, they get +1 each. Okay. So. Tisiphone has Might 6. Protect... Oh, God. Yeah, we die. Alright. We need 11s to hit them. We can surrender. That's interesting. If you seriously wound a Fury, we might only seriously need to wound one of them. Well, I suppose the gods decide. A 13 we do not wound. Might 6, yeah? We are also not wounded. We strike again. Nope. The flurry of misses continues. Round 3. Close. 13 does not breach our defense of 15, so we fight on. We land a blow. So Tisiphone is wounded. I don't like the fact that they fight in this order implies that they're going to keep on fighting after being seriously wounded. Or this is a bluff. Well, she now strikes at us. She was close enough to wound us, because she was at the tip of our sword's reach, if not closer, but failed to get through our breastplate. I think she got through the shield there. We strike again. And don't quite get her. Okay. She definitely hurts us. Now we are both wounded. This is not good. I seem to remember that fighting the Furies is a good thing to do here. We do not quite land a blow. That was very close. We are not wounded. That was also incredibly close. We fail. She definitely fails. Come on, we can do this. 17. So close. Okay. And she hits us. We're seriously wounded. Now... Oh... Okay. We're rolling 1 die plus 7. Looking for an 18. If I spend 8 honor, that takes me up to 1 die plus 15. So if I spend 9 honor, that takes me up to plus 16. I've rolled the 2 I needed. She is now seriously wounded. And it hurts like hell. Screeching in agony, Tisiphone flies off to the safety of the neighbouring copse. Her sisters follow her with no stomach for such a fight. "Yours!" they cry in unison. "Yours will be the anguish, and yours the mind and killing fear when next you meet the Furies." With this, they ascend aloft into the cool night's air and are gone. Have 1 shame point for attacking divinities, but 2 honour points for your prowess in battle. You're also in disfavour with the Furies, which is going to be horrible later on. Perhaps we can reverse that at some point. So, 1 shame, 2 honour. So we're down 7 honour, shockingly. I think we will meet him again in Book 3, for some reason. Let's hope this is worth it. The man is still where the Furies left him, almost unable to move from fear. You shake him and show him that all is well. He thanks you profusely, relief clear on his face. "I killed my wife," he confesses. "It was an accident, but the Furies won't listen. Perhaps now I have time to gain sanctuary in the Temple of Athena. Whatever happens, I will have no use for this." He takes from around his bloodied neck a gold chain on which hangs an amulet of red rubies. "Here, this will aid you in fights with mortal creatures." While wearing the ruby amulet, your might value is increased by 2, or your protection value is increased by 2. The choice is yours, but you cannot switch the advantage to the other attribute in the middle of a combat. Note also that to invoke it, you must forgo your first attack to pray to your patron. If you're defeated in combat and you lose a weapon, this will count as a combined might/protection value of 5 and not 4. Thanking you once again, the man stumbles off towards Athens and his possibly and possible safety. Not and is possibly safe. Right. Oh, this is going to be awkward, isn't it? Right, so. So it seems then that if we lose certain fights, we may be required to sacrifice weapons or armour to a combined value. Thanking you once again, the man stumbles off towards Athens and possible safety. Yeah. Not sure how helpful that is. We shall see. To Piraeus of the great carved ships you come, and there at the harbour's edge stands the boat that will take you to Crete and the well-founded citadel of Knossos. A great pine-built vessel, sails of black cloth dyed deep black. Blah! A great pine-built vessel, sails of cloth deep dyed in black, rowing benches wreathed in black, oars painted black, while the crew wear robes the colour of the night. Yet the ship is old, its hull encrusted with the debris of the seas. The figurehead of Athena at the prow, once the proud harbinger of an Athenian crew, is now faded and saddened by the cargo it carries. In a huddle stand the 14 young men and women destined for death in the Cretan labyrinth. You approach a small, brown-bearded man, whose robe is trimmed with white, standing on the quayside. He is indeed the captain, but says that the ship cannot sail tonight as the tide is wrong. Your hurried journey from Athens was unnecessary. You could have avoided the Furies. You retire below decks, and there sleep in the cabin where the crew have their quarters. In the morning you awaken refreshed, and go back to the deck where dawn has already brought her message of light to the realms of earth. The ship has already cast off, and the rowers are at their benches, heaving hard at the smooth wooden oars. Looking at this picture, I'm rather wishing I had I'd ended the episode and stopped here, but maybe we should just continue anyway. It feels like we're near the end of the book. The overseer has no whip for all of volunteers, but a regular beat is struck on stretched hide drums. The Athenians destined for sacrifice speak little, keeping to themselves, but every so often cast you hopeful glances as men appealing to high Olympus for succour. Altheus, breaker of horses, will save us, they say, or Altheus will storm the great walled citadel of Knossos and bring us back to Athens. One girl looks remarkably like your mother, Aethra, and puts you in mind for a moment of the home you left so many days ago. The voyage continues, and the sun and moon take their turns at lighting up the weary world. Sometimes the ship goes under sail, at other times oars are needed. You are seasick often as the swell rocks the boat, and so unable to help in the necessary tasks of the journey. Your stomach feels as if trampled by the Marathonian bull. Your head reels as if being caught a glancing blow by a straight-flying spear. You are dimly aware that the ship, having hugged the coast of Attica, now approaches rugged Chios. There are shouts and noises above. "Altheus!" you hear the captain cry. "Come quickly!" You stagger to your feet and lurch unsteadily to the deck, wondering at the ways of seafaring folk. When you look out to where everyone is pointing, you see and horror grips your mind. A great sea monster, shaped like a serpent with slimy spines sticking from its head, huge beyond imagining, eyes sparkling with the glint of the deeps, jaws wide and ravening, its body shining blue, green, and yellow under the summer sun. Poseidon is not our patron. And is not hostile to us, and does not look upon us favourably, so we are completely neutral. Or it might not quite be good enough. The sea serpent is might 20, protection 12. We can attack it or decide we can do nothing in case the creature has not noticed the ship. Poseidon is neutral towards us. If we attack it, we may earn Poseidon's disfavour. So, let's look at it another way. We're given the combat stats here, but the combat is actually in another section. I'm not saying the stats may change in that section, but if we attack it, we're definitely going to fight. I say we do nothing and pray the beast does not assail us. A silence falls upon the company, afraid lest even the slightest sound alert the creature, yet it is of no use. It comes like a dog on the scent of fresh meat after a battle. With one toss of its head, it rips off the figurehead of Athena, swallows it whole, and turns once again towards the ship. You realise that you have no weapons. Do you go down below to fetch them, or do you go into battle unarmed? If we go down below to fetch our sword, it's probably going to sink the ship. So we'd be on might 4, trying for a 12. Oh, this feels bad. We would not be able to invoke the ruby brooch. So it's going to hit us every time. We get the first attack, we can theoretically win as long as we can roll an 8+ twice. With honour. Okay. Go into battle unarmed. Stupid though this may be. While you hesitated, one of the crew members has thrown a harpoon at the beast, but it missed. You snatch up a sharp knife, might 1, from the deck and prepare to face the creature. Right, now, hold on. Okay. So we're on might 5, taking us down to 7s. And we can spend honour. We could dive into the water to attack and drown or get mashed up by its body against the side of a ship. Whilst it looks very heroic, it's probably not the wisest. We'll stay on the ship and fight from there and hope that works. The beast comes back towards the black ship, and the clash as you meet is mighty. The suns rays on your armour are as sparks from a fire, and the din of your encounter makes it seem as if the very sky is not secure in its place. Okay, let's see if we can seriously wound it. So, we clearly want to spend honour here, because we're only armed with a tiny little knife. So, might 5. 3 will take us up to 8, so we'd need a 4. 2 would take us up to 7, so we'd need a 5, which might be pushing it a bit, so we will spend 3 honour points. And rolling 2 dice plus 8. We definitely land a blow. It rolls 2 dice plus 20, and ah yes, there are automatic misses. That's not a double one. Is it a 2 or 3 that misses? Hang on. This is worth it, because it's when you're rolling 1 dice or 2 dice, it matters. Roll of 1 is an automatic miss on 1 die. With 2 dice, 11 or 12 always hits. 2 or 3 always misses. Okay, so we are now obviously wounded. That's okay. I'll remove the word seriously because that was from a previous fight. I will go with 3 more points of honour. We seriously wound the sea beast. Let us pray that is enough. Your last blow strikes home, and the creature shrieks out in agony, lashing with its tail, and tries to swim off, its skin of iridescent green now clouded with its dark red blood. The captain, praising Zeus for deliverance, orders those of the rowers who have survived to get under way. The black-sailed vessel limps onwards to Crete, have 7 honour points. Makes up for the 6 we spent a bit. And go to section 349. I'm still pretty sure I could have handled this adventure better, but let's see. For the next day and night the ship is driven by a great heaven-sent storm through the deep-running waters of ocean, and its timbers are broken. 3 oarsmen are cast into the black whirlpools, never to return to the world of mortal men. Of this you see little, Altheus, for you are too ill. Perhaps your passage would have been eased if Hermes the messenger had granted you the use of his feathered wings to fly to fair Crete. At last the ship, battered by storm and serpent, arrives at Kifnos for repairs, and to take on fresh water to slake the thirst of the tired seamen. You emerge onto the deck, but are carried down the gangway to the harbour while the crowds look on at this strange ship from Athens. You slump down beside a pile of well-woven baskets, and an old woman revives you with a bunch of grapes. We can accompany the captain around Kifnos, explore on our own, moving boldly into the interior of the island, or stay at the quayside while the fast-moving ship is repaired. Well, I think what we shall do, actually, is end the episode here. Because clearly the journey is not over yet. And whilst we might be nearly there... Is there a map? Where is the map? Okay. Kifnos is here. Crete is all the way down here. Oh, there's quite a long way to go. Yeah, we're definitely ending the episode here then. In which case, I hope you've all enjoyed this one. I'll look forward to seeing you all in the next one, and you can all let me know in the comments section down below how badly I fared this episode, or actually how well I managed to do. While looking for thumbnail images for the previous episode, I saw an illustration and saw that it is possible, in the text opposite it, for us to please Hephaestus, the smith god, who would be under a big volcano somewhere, possibly near Olympus, which is like up round here, isn't it? And he can give us magical weapons and armor, which are very good against supernatural creatures or monsters, you know. I don't know if I've missed that opportunity by heading through the wrong towns. On our way to Athens, we could have probably gone through a better town. And maybe had that opportunity. Might have missed it completely. Maybe it's on one of these islands and we haven't got there yet. But hey, for now, I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye, everyone, and cheerio.